it's Ronnie, an update and tips for anybody that uses Krylon paint. You know, you buy it like Menards or Baumgart's, Walmart, whatever, and you're doing home projects. Don't believe what they tell you. I ran into the same problem, but the first problem first, I blew out my flip-flop, but I didn't step on a pop top. These are my shop shoes for out here. I was wearing these the whole time since I started on this project, since end of February. They scattered. Oh, there you go. Oh, perfect timing. You gotta be kidding me. All right, we'll take care of that. Oh, you can't be, I said, what can go wrong, Will, when you're making a video to you? But I'm gonna show you the truth. First, I blew up my shoe. So, I think a little hot glue will work. I have maybe 2 more tomorrow after work, and then Friday. I think I'm going to hot glue this puppy together and make it last till the project's at least out on the water, right? Oh, it's too bad. But okay, number 2. I used this. Now, I emailed Rust-Oleum dudes here themselves. All right, self-etching primer. I ran into a problem I told you about when I did this piece here on top of the steel with this self-etching primer, and that's the same tractor enamel, the same red. See how shiny and pretty that came out after it peeled off the first time? And I ended up sanding it down. It wouldn't dry, and I sanded it down, and I put it in my oven, and I baked this piece in my oven at 190 degrees for an hour and a half. Look how shiny and smooth and pretty it came out, right? Okay, that's enamel. This apparently is a lacquer self-etching primer. And their own customer support people and their tech dudes said, yeah, it's compatible with farm acrylic enamel, which is this, which is all of this, the same stuff, okay? Well, here's what's happening again. You saw how nice and shiny that was over there. I'm going to show you the difference. Now look at here. This is 2 light coats on top of that self-etching primer, and that is enamel. You see that? Does that look nice and pretty and shiny? Or does it look like it's pebble grain and rippled, and you get up here, it was actually wrinkling, but the wrinkling came out? You don't want paint like that on anything unless you want a pebble grain. I think it looks kind of neat. I might leave it, but I do know how to get rid of that. That is all this pebble grain here. I painted a lot of vehicles, man. You're a thing, you name it. I know what I'm doing. I had the best teacher on the planet, my brother Butch. God bless his soul. He's on the other side now. Painting without a gun. He just waving his hands and coating and painting what he done, man. He's awesome. Master craftsman. And I know what this is. That is the etching primer fighting against the paint. That's why it don't want to dry correct. And that's why it's bubbling up and kind of wrinkling and pebble green. And now if I heat it, I could heat it not with a heat gun that I got that'll melt paint off. I'd have to use my hair dryer on low heat and sit here for about an hour and a half with the infrared temp gun and keep it under 200 degrees about, and heat this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it would end up flowing out and shine, and then it'd stick and not a problem. But don't use etching primer, which is supposed to help stick better than any other primer into used older metal or, you know, whatever, aluminum. Don't use this with any type of enamel. Apparently, this works. It's a lacquer base, I am assuming, because here is, let me show you what paint that is. Rust-Oleum, the hammered look. Like, I haven't been hammered in a week and a half. I've just been working. I finally cracked open a beer now. That's the first beer I've had in a week. You believe that? Holy cannoli, I've been busy. I lost 5 pounds because I ain't been eating supper. I've been out here till after dark So this baby's going to go on the water this next weekend. But yeah, this is a lacquer. And not a problem, not a bubble. Just beautiful with that etching primer. But up here, but I think I might leave it if it decides to dry. But if I have to heat it, I'm going to put it out. I've been putting it out here in front of the garage with my door as a reflector right here when it's shut, the white door on black. So when it's 75 degrees out and the sun comes over, that metal I came home yesterday when I did the tail end, and I put it out in the morning before I went to work, and when the sun beat on it, I came home at 4:30. I picked it up with my bare hands and about burned the hell out of me. I got it, ow, and I grabbed my glove. And yeah, it's dry. So I'm going to do that. But yeah, don't use the self-etching primer. And I will show you proof. I'm not full of stuff. You see that pebble green? That's the etching primer. Okay. Here is what I used. The professional primer. Only professional primer is urethane, but it costs a fortune. And you have to wear a respirator or anything when you spray that because it gets in your lungs. It don't ever come out. Now here is a same style of chunk of steel that I used the professional regular primer non-etching on. And that's 2 light coats. There's not a blister. Look how nice and smooth. I didn't even sand that steel. It's just, it was black oxide coated black pipe, Schedule 80. Look how beautiful and shiny and smooth that stuff's already laying out. And that's just 2 really light coats. I'm going to put another coat on in the morning, put it out in the sun too, and let it bake. So there is proof. Do not use self-etching primer with any type of enamel. You use lacquer, it'll be fine, okay? Oh yeah, and this is the piece that goes, I'll show you quick. This is the piece that goes in that hole. I ain't taking all the bolts. This goes in here like this. So when I move my long tail left and right, it goes like this. And then I have to find the balance point yet tomorrow. And then this piece, actually, I believe, will probably ride about right in here with a bolt through and bushings. Okay, like this. It'll be on bushings and just spaced. There'll only be a 1/16 of an inch of play in between the bushings and everything. And then that gives you the pivot on the balance point, and then the whole thing turns on that piece on the back of the boat, the transom mount, okay? Got it? Cool. But yeah, you see that? That is not nice, smooth, shiny. Not even close to what this is doing. That's that freaking etching primer. Don't use etching primer if you're doing anything at home or on anything, unless maybe aluminum, and don't use enamel. This is farm acrylic enamel paint. The implement paint is an acrylic enamel. Use it on lacquer, works fine. I know that hammered stuff that's here, that's a lacquer. Works beautiful with it. But don't mix the two. If you're going to use an enamel, an acrylic enamel, use just the regular professional primer like that, okay? So there you go. That's the trouble I ran into, but I kind of like that look. If it'll dry that way, but out in the sun, but it gets about 100, it has to be 160, 170 degrees out there, because I got the black match down and then I set it out there, with the reflection from the sun with the sunshine and full bore on it. It might end up flowing out and getting rid of all the little wrinkles and the junk, but it just don't like it. But once it sits in the sun and dries, you bake it. Wow, is it tough. But yeah, there you go. That's what I got going on. There's my motor. And the color scheme is going to be cool. All I got to do is make my handle yet. I'm just kind of, I ran out of time. So I'll do that tomorrow night. Get on that. But I got to find the balance point first so I know how long to make my handle. So I got to make sure all the paint's dry so I can put the motor, everything on, all the bearings, everything. It's ready to go. Except I got to fill it full of grease. That'll work. And put it together and then find a balance point so I know how long to make my handle and where it's going to set. And, long story short, dudes on YouTube, I helped them explain why their motors weren't running right. Like JT Gatoring and Send It John Boots And Blackwater Lures, I've talked to them for months, and they all have had 13 horse longtails. Some had 85s and some had 100. And I asked everyone, could you just do me a favor? I'm building my own, and you can check my video out while I'm working on the boat and kind of starting on my design. Can you just take a fish scale while it's mounted on your boat out on dry land and hook it right behind the prop and pick it up and tell me how much tail weight you got hanging? If it's 1 pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds? Because I don't have a clue about that. I know all engineering, but I've never dealt with a longtail, so I don't know what kind of tail weight it's supposed to have. I know it has to have some, but you don't want too much so it sinks when it's pushing the boat. And they, oh yeah, no problem, I'll check you. Guess what? They watched some of my videos when I build it. Nothing, none of the 3 returned and spent maybe 5 minutes to hook a fish scale to the back of that on their boat, and they're making fishing videos and going out yet just to boom and go, hey Ronnie, here's what it's weighing. So I'm on my own, but I'll figure it out. It's physics and engineering and you know what, but yeah, this is the baby. But yes, close. It's going to be out this weekend. By Sunday, hopefully I got it out Saturday morning, but it's going to be out, and it's going to be, you know, I'm going to do some fine-tuning, and I want to make a stop for it, so that, you know, once I get everything correct, I can keep fine-tinkering and improving more stuff I have plans for, but just to get the whole thing working, and I'll probably use a string to tie in, or a little piece of rope to hold it out of the water by the handle, you know, like they do on the other dudes do. But no, I'm going to make it all where it's going to be slick. It's not finished, but I just want it on the water. And just like lining the bottom, putting the floor in the boat, I want to make sure it don't leak, and it'll take a beating first. And, you know, if I don't line it till next spring, if I ain't got enough time, too bad. As long as it gets out in the water and bangs across sandbars and runs in 5-6 inches of water, hopefully 3 inches on plane, get all the balance right, and just beat it. This ain't just a regular boat. This is an off-road boat. Get it? Running sand-bottom river boat, shallow water. Not mud, running sand. That's a lot worse on stuff than mud ever would be. Yeah, I got an off-road boat, an off-road trailer, and a 4-wheel drive, so, and an off-road freaking out drive. Yeah, baby. But yeah, there you go. What can go wrong will, but I can make it work. I said, but I have proof because this is a lacquer with the same primer. And then it's doing this pebble grain bubble and wrinkle and stuff. And then that I used regular primer and the same paint, smooth as hell. But okay, there you go. So if you're doing home improvements or painting your own stuff or a bike or benches for your deck or whatever, do not use their etching primer with any kind of acrylic. Only do it with lacquer, okay? And I will be back. I refuse to lose. Oh yeah, a little hot glue. These shoes are going to last till this thing hits the water. There you go. I refuse to lose. Peace. Love, have a heart. Have a heart. Be you. Don't hurt anybody. Do what you do. And show them what can be done. And believe in yourself. At least give it a shot. If you have all the possibilities, don't let anybody tell you it can't be done, because we're almost ready to go. And it's awesome. Just believe in yourself, number one. And people think you're nuts and say, yeah, you're re-engineering a wheel. They already got the... Nah, there's nothing like this on the planet that is just a straight long tail for what I'm designing. The only one, the whole system. I have about 225 hours in the boat, the trailer, and my long tail drive setup I designed and engineered and did all myself. I'll have 220 hours in this project, but there's not enough. That's the way the boat looks once it hits the water. But there's not a boat trailer like that. There's not a boat like that. And there's not a long tail out drive like this anywhere on the planet. So there you go. Make it happen. It's all cool. I think I'm going to have to hot glue my shoe. Cause I'm going to make sure I'm wearing it until I'm done working in here, at least till Saturday morning when I want to go hit the water. So, y'all take care. I love you. Mwah! Be you. Don't let people say it can't be done. Prove them wrong. I said, the reverse bunny is, -1. Yeah, I made mistakes, but man, it's coming along and it's going to happen. I love y'all. It's not, well, maybe it's an inspirational video with tips and tricks about how not to do what I ran into, because I'm not lying. That's what's going on. That paint setback is getting me again, but I'll get around it if I have to sit there with a hairdryer on it for 2 hours. Yeah, but I kind of like if it dries that way, I kind of might leave that pebble grain looking like that. But that's because of that self-etching primer. It must be a lacquer, and using implement paint, that's acrylic enamel. So there you go. Don't mix them. I'm putting a smoke in my mouth. I hardly smoke. I said I've been so busy, I lost, I think, 5 pounds in the last week. I had like 1 beer last night after I got done. I haven't even had a beer for, 7 days till today. Well, yesterday would have been 1, so that would have been 6 days. And I got 1, and I'm wore out. But man, it's gonna happen. I'll send you videos. I'm gonna send you videos. I don't know how I'm gonna be able to use a camera or anything, because I don't got my GoPro set up when I get out in the water testing. But I'll tell you what happened, and if I can and I get it running or something's going wrong, I'll get my phone out so I don't drop it in the lake, because I'm going to have to start on a lake where there's smooth water, no current, to get everything balanced and set right before I hit the river where there's current and no water. So, yeah, you get it. But yeah, I'll try to make videos of what's going on. But we're going to make it happen, kids. Yeah, baby! Dream it, build it, make it a reality. God bless you all. You take care. I love you. Be yourself. Be you. Just, yeah. Be you. Be happy. Ciao. I will be back.